let's start with this. We were talking the other day, Steve,
Yeah.
and you were reading something in Forbes that was specifically about an area here in Chicago. That struck me as really interesting. So share with us what you found.
You know what? I don't think it's a top secret anymore because I think Karla and Joel and you are probably well aware that Pilsen is still one of the hottest neighborhoods in Chicago, and Forbes said it's one of the hottest neighborhoods in the world. The culture, Talia Hall, everything about it, the people, the music, the food, and really what we see is a lot of multi-unit investors that are investing in Pilsen right now. And what we find is what Bucktown and Wicker Park was to Chicago 20 years ago. I believe that that's what Pilsen is, still strong today.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And you were mentioning too, cap rates in that area are going to be a little better, right?
Yeah, I think so, because what's happened is I think a lot of people are being priced out as far as, rental prices. If you go to River North and you go downtown, West Loop is still very hot. And I think for that single person or that person that just graduated from college wants to be close to downtown Chicago, you can find some great opportunities, not just in terms of investment properties, but also investing in the process. And so that's what's hot right now in Pilsen.
Yeah, Pilsen is one of those areas that I feel it's like, from an investment perspective, your cap rates are going to be like kind of a 6 at this point, right? Because the acquisition cost is so high. So I'm actually shifting an interest into the Austin neighborhood.
Sure.
I find that cap rates there are a little bit higher.
Steve, if we have listeners right now who are hearing Karla and you share this, that want to know, like, what does that mean for me? What would you tell them to do about Pilsen?
Well, I think Pilsen or any neighborhood in Chicago, I think, first of all, the number one advice I ever received from one of my real estate investors was you always want to be close to public transportation. If you're an investor and you're not living there, you want to make sure that you're always close to public transportation. Primarily, let's be honest, the L. If you're close to the L, if you're in walking distance to the L, you'll never have a problem renting out your apartments. And I think that's key. That's the number one thing. I think the other thing is you have to be, another piece of advice was, you want to be able to be within 1 mile of these properties so you can service them unless you hire a property management company. Because if you let's just say you live in Evanston and all your properties are in the south suburbs, that may not be a good match for a conducive lifestyle unless you really like to drive. So right. That was another piece of advice. And I think really, depending on the cap rate, I have investors right now that are looking at buildings in Old Town, and even though the cap rates are closer to 5, I'm like, well, don't you want something a little bit higher?
Yeah.
And their response is, hey, it's Old Town, it's Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
I never have to worry about leasing it, and they're okay with that.